Oh, we got kicked off for some reason when I was switching around some cables here in our webcast about blogging for small business. So we'll continue the conversation for another 10 minutes and we'll talk about, what it is that we'll just kind of leave off on what it is that we're chatting about here, which is blogging for small business. So one of the things I was getting into was creating content about creating content on the web about your small business. And I was talking about, if you're a restaurant, you might do recipes, you might do something about special events, people that come into the restaurant, you might want to interview them if they had a good experience. You might want to spotlight some individuals that come into the restaurant that are also, in the community. Maybe you're a corner store and you have a small website and you think, well, I'm only a corner store, why would I have a website, and why would I even have a blog? Well, people want to know what time you're open, and it's good to have a website that tells people what products and services that you sell. But then having a small business blog that you talk about, community activism or Little League that you sponsor, or something that happened in your neighborhood, you're kind of the eyes and ears of the neighborhood, right? So it'd be interesting for a small mom and pop local grocery to blog about the neighborhood, because you're kind of the the town crier, so to speak. People come in, they drop news and information on you, they let you know about what's going on in the neighborhood, and if you can spit that back out in the form of a blog, then it's going to only serve as a way to enhance your personal branding and your business's brand reputation as someone who's an expert and trustworthy in things that go on in the neighborhood, right? And that's part of the Google EAT algorithm update. I was reading on the web about this algorithm update and about what you can do with Google EAT. And what EAT stands for, and I was talking about this in the last video, which ended prematurely, was expertise, authority, and trustworthiness, right? And so that's what Google's starting to focus on now, right? It's obviously always on great content, right? Great content that's, long form, that's interesting, that's educational, that's valuable to the reader, that Google's going to want to surface because they want to give the best information to the reader. But they also now want to make sure it's not spammy, and that you're not a spammer, and that you know what you're talking about, right? So there are these websites like Your Money or Your Life websites that I was reading about. There's like medical how-tos and these kinds of things where people say, you need to get this product to, continue to lose weight, or do, or be healthy, or do something like that, right? And there's a lot of those sites out there, but who's really an expert on these products, right? Who's really an expert on these services? The expert chiropractor, the expert masseuse, the expert acupuncturist, the expert foot doctor, right? And so when you are thinking today about how do you differentiate yourself from your competition in the market, you have to start thinking about your personal branding and your brand and your brand reputation, right? And blogging and using video blogging and using podcasting are some ways to do that, by giving people more information, that you're writing, that you're contributing to the social web. And then once Google starts picking that up, they're going to say, oh, well, this person has these credentials, their social profiles are well trafficked and well shared. They're very well known throughout the social media ecosystem, right? And you're going to pick up points in your Google page rank and your Google domain rank for being the most, educated and the most knowledgeable person about what it is that you're an expert in, right? So Google's starting to look for expertise beyond just blogging. They're looking for the experts, for the trust. And so, for example, if you're a blog about naturopathic health supplements, right, you want a DMO or a naturopath to be a contributor to your blog. You don't want to just blog what you think. You want to get experts in the field to blog on your site as well. And you want to post their credentials against their author profile. And there are some ways to do that. There are author plugins for WordPress where you can expand the author name, their where they work, their social profiles, and some description elements of who they are and what they do that link back to their LinkedIn, their Facebook, their own website, or whatever have you, right? So there is where expertise and authority and trustworthiness comes into play, right? So it's not just blogging about whatever it is that you can think of anymore. It's also blogging with some level of expertise, authority, and trustworthiness that you want to convey to your constituency, because then Google will start to look at your blog as an authoritative source and start to return your site in search higher as it ranks your posts higher because of that that expertise that you shared. So that is another really strong reason to blog, right? First, it's personal branding and brand marketing. Second, it's expressing the ideas and the information that you have to share about your business, your products, your services, right? Like I said, if you're a community local grocer and you've got a bunch of people stopping in to drop information, you're almost better than the local news site, right? If you start translating that information and republishing it on the web in your blog, then you're only going to benefit because people are going to start to see that you're an active member of the community. And that leads to number 3, which is expertise, authority, and trustworthiness, right? Once you start to publish on the web all the things that you can discuss and talk about and become an expert in and share, then that's going to be passed around virally, whether it's shared with other people through email, whether it's shared into a social network, whether it's just ingested by that person as a trustworthy piece of information, right? They're going to start turning to you for that news, that resource. I follow Neil Patel, who is an SEO expert and has an SEO agency. And every week he's blogging, he's doing video blogging now. And every week I tap into his video blog and I learn something new. So he's captured me as a customer that's training me on what it is that I need to do. And now I'm starting to use the tools that he's talking about, like Ubersuggest, to track down keywords that I can use in my own blog post. And like I said, this morning I sat down, carved out some time, right, to write my own post specifically about blogging for small business in 2019, which is going to include that EAT methodology that Google's promoting, right? Now, another thing about trustworthiness is making sure that your site is technically secure. So that's making sure that your site is under HTTPS and not HTTP. HTTPS is SSL, secure socket layer encryption. And when your site is fully encrypted, it's protecting things like your contact form from people trying to harvest information as your clients and customers pass through data, right? So not only is it for e-commerce anymore, it's for your whole site. And WordPress and Google are really pushing this on users to make sure that or blog owners or website owners to make sure that their WordPress websites are secure. So if you have that level of security and you're with a secure web host and you're using something like Cloudflare, which I put on all my client sites to filter out bad bot traffic, you're starting to kind of build some defenses against nefarious attacks and things like that. But you're also building reputation. You're building brand reputation by HTTPS, because not many hackers or spammers are going to go through the trouble that you're going to go through to make sure that your site is secure. And it's not too much trouble at all, right? So we talked about all the primary reasons that you want to blog, right? The other fourth good reason that you might want to blog is because then you've got social content, right? With a WordPress blog, you can connect your WordPress blog through Jetpack to your social media accounts. And when you blog, you can cross-post your blog post right into social media, right? You don't have to copy and paste the link. You can copy, it'll share the title, it'll share a description of the post, and it'll share the post featured image across the social media. So all of a sudden, you're doing two things at once, right? You're blogging and you're publishing to social media. And when you publish to your social media and you have a following in social media, they'll see that post, they'll click on it, and they'll go back to your site, right? Because at the end of the day, blogging on your site is returning users to your site. It's increasing the value of your business. When we post in social media, in Twitter and Facebook and these kinds of places, that's kind of a fly-by-night operation, right? You post something today, it's gone tomorrow. But if you post something on your blog, Google's going to pick that up, right, in a Google search, and you're going to be able to return that blog post over time, right, in an evergreen way, right, to someone who is doing that search. They're not necessarily going to find those posts on your pages years from now in Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever have you. Those are immediacy. That's immediacy in social media. It's not blogging. Blogging is for the long term. Social media is for the short term. Social media is the quick fix, right? So we want to convert people from social media back to our blog, because we want to build up our blogs and our websites just like we built inventory and traffic to our store. Because if we can make our blogs better and enhance our websites, then we can drive more traffic, then we can increase our trust, authority, and expertise, and then that's going to translate into business. If we stop blogging, like my old client, my recent client that I was just speaking about in the last video before we got cut off, she decides not to blog. And I think personally, from SEO and from a social media marketing and from a internet marketing perspective, being a skincare and spa and not blogging and not sharing your expertise is going to harm you and not help you. The other thing that Google likes to see is sites that have interactivity, right? That have things going on, right? If your site is just stuck out there and you're not blogging, you're not adding to it, then it's just going to sit there and do nothing, right? Google doesn't want to return websites that are doing nothing. Google wants active web owners, active promoters, right, to be out there talking about their businesses, talking about their products, talking about their services, returning information of value. Because if Google can't provide that value to its users through your blog post, then it's going to consider your site less relevant, not irrelevant, but less relevant than the next person, right? And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go out and you're going to look at one of your competitors' sites, and they're going to be blogging about all kinds of great things every week, right? And once they're starting to blog about these things every week, they're starting to get users and people starting to talk about their products and services, and they're picking up some personal branding as well as some business branding. And then you're starting to hear about them and you're kicking yourself and saying, well, what is it that I could have done to get people to recognize and notice my business? Well, you could have blogged, right? Because it's not just social media, because there's a difference. In social media, you need to attract people to like and follow your page in order to have them interact with the expressions in your posts. But in the blog world, once you're blogging, you don't have to go out and find people to bring back to your social media page and like it, or ask them to join your group. Your blog post is organic SEO. It's out there as evergreen content that is going to be like a fish hook for any fish, shark, whale passing by. And that's what you want. You want the whale, right? So the whale that sees the fish hook and bites onto it, and you reel that whale in, through that fish hook and say, hey, you can interact with me. You can come to my place of business and buy my product or service, right? That's what you want, right? You want those people. It's just like people walking down the sidewalk in a major city, and they stop by and they do window shopping, right? That's what blogging is. So you want to equate that with window shopping. It's saying, here, look at me, look at what I do, look at what I've done. You're window shopping now. Come in, let's have a conversation. Let's transact. Let's do business, right? There are many other reasons to blog. And I will get into those reasons in my forthcoming blog post. But I'll give you, another benefit to blogging, right? It strengthens your own expertise, right? If you start researching and writing about your products and services, right, then that's something that you're going to be able to convey to your customers through a post, right? So right now, I carved out some time this morning to start writing about the 20 reasons you should be blogging for your small business in 2019. And in that, I'm learning from others and I'm passing that information on. So it doesn't have to always come from you, right? Don't always think that you have to create a post or out there, that it's all your ideas. Of course, when we post and publish, we want to attribute any quotes or things like that in our blog post to other people. We want to say, have footnotes. This is where we referenced, and got some information from. But for all intent and purposes, you don't necessarily have to think up all this stuff by yourself. And that gets back to the fear of blogging, the fear of getting started is, don't just think about it's you that has to think creatively about everything. There's all this information out there that you can regurgitate and make new for the next customer that comes along. And if you can do a better post on, or like I'm going to do on the top 20 reasons to blog in 2009, then my post hopefully will climb up the search engine rankings. It will convert customers into coaching clients for my TonyZilli.com coaching and training business. And it's I'm all the better for it. My clients are all the better for it. I've created some personal branding and some brand recognition and some expertise and some trustworthiness and some authority, and they've gotten some value out of it because they can start blogging. And then we can get together with Tony at TonyZeoli.com, TonyZeoli.com. You can then check in with me. You can schedule a 30-minute consultation with me. We can talk about blogging strategies. We can talk about how to get you started. I can review your post. I can show you, what some people are doing, what other people shouldn't be doing, or what you shouldn't be doing. I can show you how to expand your post, how to make them more in depth. What are the things that you need to do, who do you need to link to, and how to share your posts outward through your social community to get people reading them, writing about them, sharing them themselves, right? So that's basically what the purpose is that I'm doing this for. I'm writing my 20 reasons to blog for small business in 2019 because I'm working on driving clients into my training and coaching business. And so hopefully I'm thinking critically about how that's going to be successful, how that's going to convert readers into clients and customers for my coaching, training, and consulting business. So I'm taking the action that I'm proposing to all of you to take to blog about your small business, to convert your readers into customers, and to grow your business exponentially through personal branding and brand building through blogging and social, and connecting that to social media, bringing people back to your sites, making that the beachhead of your information and the resource that people are looking for. And I really think, and I've seen this happen time and time again with so many marketers that are using blogs in their digital marketing strategy. So if you have any questions, you can always hit me on TonyZeoli.com, TonyZeoli.com, or right here on WordPress for Small Business, the Facebook page. You can join our group where we'll be posting and sharing information and helping each other. And the time right now is up. So we'll see you next week with a new topic, which I'm going to think about and post on WordPress for Small Business webpage. And once we get that up and running, we'll let you know next Tuesday at 11 a.m. So join me again. And don't forget TonyZeoli.com, TonyZeoli, and schedule a 30-minute consultation with me for free. We'll talk about what it is that you're trying to get started, and then we'll work on some solutions for you to make sure that you can execute your plan, your digital plan for your small business. Thank you.